Hello, love. As you know, I've recently bought Arkham Horror, the card game, because I love the Cthulhu mythos, and this game has gotten great reviews over the years, and I wanted to give it a try because, I've been itching for a new board game, and so I've been trying it out. And now I'm going to create some videos because I like making videos, and I know you like watching them, and this one will be a series of videos showing me playing through it so that you can get an idea of what to expect when we eventually play together, when we see each other again. So let's get into it, shall we? So as you see, Arkham Horror is a card game. Not technically a board game, but it is a card game. And with a card game, you have lots of cards. Like a whole bunch of cards right there. It's a couple hundred cards right there. And you got some tokens. And all of this creates a very compelling and haunting narrative that you get to go through and build your deck and find different endings and experience true horror front and center. What you'll need to do first is you'll need to select your investigator. This will be your character that will help navigate what type of decks you build and will be your person that you take through the haunting story that is called Night of the Zealot. Very ominous stuff. So we have 5 different investigators. You have Roland Banks. This is his character card here. And this is his card that you move throughout the world that we will be creating. And on one side it tells you his abilities that he has, as well as his health and his mental status. And the other side gives a bit of a story about him and then what is needed to build his deck. And all of these little smaller cards here have 2 sides, a colored side and a black and white side. And I'll get into that at another point in time. But this is Roland Banks. He is a federal agent, so he is very combat heavy. These are their stats up here for willpower, intelligence, combat, and speed. This is Daisy Walker. She is a librarian. Of course, her abilities, her health in both areas, and then her other stuff here. This is Skids O'Toole, an ex-con. Of course, his abilities and his story. Down here, we have Agnes Baker. Her abilities, her health, what you need to make her deck. And then the last one is the Urchin, Wendy Adams. Skills, abilities, health, deck requirements. Plenty of different characters to play as, each of them with their own unique personalities. Also, coming along with all of the characters that we have are their appropriate colored cards of blue for the Guardians, who are all about combat and weaponry. The yellow being for the Seekers, being all about intelligence and solving clues. The green for the Rogues, where they are all about gaining resources and taking advantage of what they have available. The purple is for the, I believe they're called the Magicians, or Mages, or probably Mages. But they are, they do really well with magic and taking mental damage, because when they take mental damage, they dish out stronger, more damaging effects, because they thrive on being insane, I guess. And then we have the red for the Survivor, where the Survivor does well in bad luck because survivors are just ordinary people caught in unordinary circumstances. Or should I say extraordinary circumstances. But yes, they thrive off of bad things that happen to them, and so they like to test their luck a lot. And then we have neutral cards. And so when you go to craft your deck, you will look on the back of the cards of the character investigator that you choose, and they will tell you, oh, mystic, these are mystic cards. That's what these are. But they will tell you what you need: mystic cards, survivor cards, and neutral cards to build a deck size of 30. So for Agnes here, you would need these and these, plus some of these to create her deck so that you can play as her. So right now I'm going to show you how to get set up for the game. So first things first, choose an investigator. I'm going to go with Roland Banks because he's the one that everybody seems to start off with, so I'm going to go with him. So we are going to get rid of the other 4 investigators, and we are going to take a look at our friend Roland here, and we're going to see what we need for his deck. So first thing is that he needs his 38 special. He also needs cover up and 1 random basic weakness on top of the 30 cards from the Guardians, Seekers, and Neutral cards. In the Learn to Play manual of Arkham Horror, the card game, they have been so gracious to include a couple of starter decks for new beginners. This one is for Roland Banks, this one is for Wendy Adams. There are also a few others for everybody else in the very back of the book, right here. But we are going here to look and see what we're going to need, because this is what we are going to start off with beginning our game together. So, of course, we have Roland's 38 special cover up, but then we have all of these cards here, and these will be taken from the Guardians, the Seekers, and the Neutral cards. Let me get those. I'll be right back. So these are the cards for Roland's deck. There are 33 of them, as there should be and always will be for everyone's deck. There have been 10 cards taken from the Guardians set, 10 cards taken from the Seekers set, 10 cards taken from the Neutral set, and then down here we have Roland's 38 special, cover up, and a random basic weakness, which ours is paranoia. So I guess we are very paranoid. So these will make up Roland's deck. And something I wanted to show you is that if you notice, these cards all have, or should I say, do not have these little like star things on any of their, below any of their numbers. These stars is for the campaign, because this is a very story-based game. There are going to be very long campaigns, and when you're starting off, you don't want to include any stars, because as you go through scenario through scenario, or chapter by chapter, you will get experience points and use that experience points to get better cards. So you want to make sure that you start off with no stars. No stars, because nobody's a star here. Once you've chosen your investigator and deck, and along with their miniature card, you are going to choose a scenario or campaign. So the core set of Arkham Horror comes with 3 scenarios or 1 campaign. These are 3 different chapters for 1 overarching story. They can be played all together or separately, and they range in difficulty from easy, normal, and hard. So we are going to choose easy because we are beginners. So ours is going to be the Gathering. There are 4 difficulties, as you can see on this card. Easy, standard, and if you flip it, hard and expert. Well, we're not going to do that, not just yet. But we are going to start at easy because we need help. So we're going to run with this easy campaign on easy mode with perhaps the easiest character in this game. Like I said, along with all these cards, you have all these tokens. And these tokens over here specifically are going to be the ones that help us decide whether or not this game will be really easy or really hard. This is the campaign, so this has all of our scenarios, all of our chapters, all of our big stories that can play out and all the different endings and show all the different cool things that this game is hiding. But right here, you can see all the different difficulties. And what you want to do is that if you want easy, for example, you're going to need a certain amount of these tokens, and these tokens will be our chance. For some games, you roll a dice to decide your fate. This one, you take these tokens, you shove them in a bag, you pull out a token, that's your fate. So what we'll need is 2 plus 1, 3 zeros, 3 minus 1s, 2 minus 2s, 2 skulls, 1, it looks like this little cultist little dude. One of these, I guess it's a broken tombstone, not really sure what that is. One of these, and one of these. Okay, so I threw all the tokens in my beanie, because everybody knows that my beanie is a dangerous place to live, so we put all the dangerous objects in there. So, now, to finish up bringing out everything for the game, we need to build up our encounter deck. So for this scenario, the Gathering, we'll take these cards here, and these cards will make up what cards we'll have to deal with in this scenario. And what we need to find is when we open up this manual, we need to set up. And what it's going to ask us, it's going to ask us for all these symbols here. This torch, this rat, this ghoul-looking thing. All these look like little umbrellas. This cow patty thing here and this Dorito-looking thing here. It wants all these cards from here, and this will be what we deal with. So, we'll look on here, and you can see torch symbol, torch symbol, torch symbol, rat symbol. And so we'll go through and we'll find all these little symbols and we'll put them into a deck. And then this deck will be the evil deck that we'll have to deal with when we reach the Gathering. Now we are at the end of setting up the game. So we have picked our investigator, we have made our deck, we've gotten our little mini card, we picked our scenario or campaign, got our encounter cards for the campaign. It also asked us to remove and set aside the ghoul priest and this woman here named Lita Shantler. So they will play a part in the story of the Gathering. We'll figure them out later, but this is what we have right now. And from here, we'll actually play the game, and I'll show you at a later date of me playing at Roland Banks, the federal agent, taking on the Gathering.